We're live?
Yep.
Okay. So, here, do you want to try to
Yeah.
get me on there? All right. So, Melissa and I are back today. We're going to talk about, a bunch of things today. So, we are going to be talking about stress and anxiety. We are going to be talking about how to keep your immune systems boosted up. And we're going to be talking about intuition and how to tap into that a little bit more so that you can receive the answers that you need to receive. And we're going to be going kind of all over the place. I think where I want to start right now is with the stress and anxiety. So I want to kind of go over that first because I've been seeing that coming up clinically as I work with clients. Emotionally, we can just kind of feel this going on right now. And so I wanted to talk a little bit about anxiety and how people feel this in different ways. So for some people, I feel anxiety is physically manifested in the body in different ways. So for some people, a lot of pain in between the shoulder blades is what I'll see people coming in with. I also see it anything in the hands and in circulation. So elbows, wrists. I've been feeling it in my middle fingers, just some tenderness or weakness in those fingers. And other people feel anxiety just because we're so used to having our plans, our days scheduled out, and right now with so much uncertainty, so much unknown, it leaves us feeling like, well, how can I plan for something when I don't even know what tomorrow's going to bring? And so that whole not being able to plan for creates a lot of thoughts coming in. And so a lot of times, even like right before you go to bed, you might be totally exhausted, but the minute you go to bed, you can't fall asleep because these thoughts start bombarding your brain. And you're thinking, how am I going to handle that? Or what am I going to do about that trip I planned? Maybe I shouldn't go. Or all of these things are coming up. And so anxiety really doesn't mean just panic attacks, although it definitely can cause those. For some people, they're just experiencing an uneasiness or not really, it really is feeling out of control. So we try so hard to control everything in our lives, and all of a sudden we're feeling like that's taken away from us, and we're left without that. And so we just started up these polls. So if anyone who is watching can just play with us, because we've never done this before, but if you can respond, just so we know if this is even working, because we've never done this before, but just let us know how anxiety is making you feel right now. How do you feel it physically in the body, or is this something that you're feeling kind of just in your mind or just in your head? And we're gonna try to help.
Voting is ended.
Oh, thanks, Julie. All right, so if anyone is watching, I'm going to give the 4 choices out of here. So if anyone wants to reopen the poll. Okay. So we'll see. And if you just want to comment, either you can't shut off your brain, you are loving this isolation and feeling like isolation is the best way to go right now with anxiety. If you actually feel it in your chest or in your hands, or any other aches and pains in the body.
Candy's on. Tight shoulders.
Okay.
That's good.
Okay.
So that's your watch party.
Okay, great. All right. So, and if anyone, Kathy, I've got you because you're in my watch party. So I'm watching those comments too. But if anyone else has another watch party going, we're not going to be able to see these results unless you're logged on to Natural Healing Centers. But if anyone else wants to share the comments that they're getting to, you can share those as well. So the tightness in the shoulders is actually very common. One of the things that happens with anxiety is this is the body's defense mechanism. It's a self-protective mode. And so what happens is the body switches hormones, your adrenals are off, but really your breathing is off too, because the whole body goes into this, how do I protect the self mode? And so there's a lot of stiffness, tightness, tension feelings, especially in the upper part of the body, as the body's trying to protect itself. And one of the ways that you can correct that is we have like an override of our system. And the way to override that is to breathe. So anxiety breathing is short, shallow breaths, which is why if that's on too much, we'll have a lot of circulatory issues, more aches and pains. Your immune system gets lowered, everything, because the body goes into this defensive state. So one of the ways to correct this is just to try to correct your breathing, deeper breathing. So you do the yoga breaths, the belly breaths, where when you breathe in, you can feel your belly fill up with air. So instead of concentrating on your chest filling up with air, you try to bypass that all the way down into your stomach, and you do some deep breaths from your stomach. We were just talking about, Go ahead, bring him up too.
So my mom sent me Wim Hof. I don't know if you guys know him. He does the breathing techniques. He's climbed numerous mountains in nothing but shorts and flip-flops through these breathing techniques, and he's got a YouTube channel that he gives all this away for free, and I'll link that to our page too, so that you guys can kind of play with it. The one I've been doing, I noticed that as I'm doing these inhales, exhales, my whole body it's alkalizing. I feel the coolness as I'm doing it. And I was remembering as I'm doing it that I've always had problems breathing. I never breathe all the way in. I have the short shallows where it's just, real quick. And when I first started doing it, I did feel in my body the resistance, that fight or flight, where it kicks in and it's like, nope, you gotta, keep the short shallows. And once you do override that, you start to feel it in your body, and you feel your brain, your brain's going. But when you get comfortable in that, you do start to have an ease. There's a calm ease that sets in with it. So I definitely think right now, even if you don't experience anxiety, breathing is so essential. Even just to realign ourselves with who we are, with our intuition, our higher self. Breathing reconnects us to that state. We get into our human mind, our human brain, and it tells us all the things we have to do today. It lists off everything we have to worry about, or whatever it is, But when we stop and we concentrate on the breath, we get a moment to reconnect with ourselves. We get a moment to come out of reaction and into awareness. So these breathing techniques are essential right now.
And the breathing techniques are actually, there's so many different types of breathing techniques. It's a whole pillar in yoga, learning different types of breathing techniques. And breathing techniques are just like different types of diet plans. So there might be one diet plan that works well for you and others that don't. It's going to be the same with breathing. Yeah. And so you want to try to go through all these different types of techniques, because there's going to be one that is right for you. And so if there's one that you you try and you're like, I don't really like it, or I can't do that, or I find it difficult. Like, find the one technique that resonates with you, that makes you feel better, where you can feel like it's really opening something up. There is never one thing out there that is right for everyone. And I think that gets frustrating, because we wish it was like, oh, you just eat like this, or you just breathe like this, and you exercise like this. And everyone's bodies are different. And this is going to be another thing that we're talking about through everything today, is everyone's body is different. Everyone's experiences are different. Everyone's connection to intuition and spirit is different. And what we want to try to do is try to give you enough tools so that you find which is the one that is best for your individual self. And so sometimes you have to try these ones just to see, like, oh, okay, I do that with dietary eliminations. Give up one food for 2 weeks. Add it back in your body. If you notice, oh, yeah, I felt terrible while I was eating that, that's not a good food for you. Maybe you give it up and you feel fine when you add it back in. It must be okay, even though a lot of people have a problem with that food. And so what we're always trying to do here is trying to get everyone to connect with themselves, connect with your body, connect with your spirit, and see how what you need can help you to further grow in life and expand in life.
Even with the breathing, I've done a lot of different breathing techniques, and in my body, my brain couldn't concentrate on bringing my awareness to my breath. It would make me like have to take deeper breaths, and I would be concerned about it. So having the guidance through it, having somebody guide me through the breathing really helps too. And it's going to be different, for everybody with that. And I know a lot with the yogic breath, that works for a lot of people. And I tried for a long time to do that, and I couldn't.
So my dad, I'm sorry, Dad, if you're watching, you can tell me who, but he's reading this book on breathing by somebody, and to me, everything in the body is like, we already have all of these systems in our body, that these loops, these correction loops. So this gets too much, and then the brain sends these signals to balance that out, and then sometimes that gets too much, and then you get all these signals to balance that out. And he told me about somebody's breathing technique, and it was really more for asthmatics. And what it reminded me was about this loop. And what they said was, you know how when people hyperventilate, they give them a paper bag and just say, breathe into the bag. And what happens is, when your body is breathing in the carbon dioxide, it actually opens up your bronchial tubes because it wants to receive more oxygen. So if you're really having that closed bronchial system, like you can't even take a breath, sometimes that breathing into a paper bag, you think like, I need more oxygen, but having enough oxygen tells the body like your bronchial tubes don't need to be as open. And so if you breathe into the paper bag, it'll open it up, and then you can take a couple of deep breaths again. And so our body is already designed in this way, this checks and balances. It's always trying to correct itself and help itself. It's just that we're never really taught about how it does this. So we don't know like how we're fighting this or hindering this, because we just assume like, oh, okay, I need this or I need that. And if you become more in touch with your body, you'll start to figure out like, okay, this is what I need. Even if it is, you don't have to breathe into the paper bag. You just have to know like, okay, I just need to calm down. I just need to, instead of maybe taking a whole bunch of breaths, I need to hold my breath for a minute here. Hold it, and then start breathing again. And so by learning all these different techniques, we can learn how to know what our body needs.
And that's even a part of intuition, is knowing your body. It's not just knowing your body, it's knowing your body, knowing your mind, knowing your higher self. it's all aligned. So the more you can understand about yourself, your quality of life is greatly impacted. Um, it's it's easier to learn how to ride with your ebbs and flows when you know yourself.
All right, so the next thing I'm going to jump into here is your immune system. Okay, and so this is huge where I'm at. I don't think we got a question for that one, right? Okay, so I'm just right now, again, with all the uncertainty, what we know is we have to build our body's immune system. What does that mean? It doesn't mean anything unless you know where your body's immune system is lacking. And so that is why I have things like the Zytoscans, where I have you place your hand on a device and we go and we look and see what part of your body needs a little bit more support. Is it your lungs? Is it your stomach? Is it your liver and gallbladder? Whatever it is. So what I'm trying to do is trying to support your body where it's weakest. I will say I'm loving all of the supplements that I have right now to fight a virus. So a virus isn't strong unless it's an immune system that is weak. And right now, our biggest defense, without having anything else that we have out there right now, the best way to combat the virus is to build up your immune system, make sure it is strong, so something like a virus comes in and it says, I don't have a chance in there. And so we have amazing supplements. I'm loving Standard Process for this. My favorite is the Conjuplex. Okay, so Conjuplex has your vitamins A and C. It has RNA support. So RNA support is viral support. So it helps your body with transcribing and it keeps your immune system strong enough so that viruses can't come in and wreak all that havoc on the body. And so for anyone who is just wanting to keep their immune system up and their lungs strong, Conjuplex is amazing. I would say 2 twice a day is just like a normal, like every day, just to help keep your immune system strong. If you're feeling symptoms, you can take 3 times a day to help kick anything out that's gotten into there. If people already have weaker lungs, I love the Amphiplex. So the Amphiplex helps to clear the lungs. So anyone who has been a smoker, is a smoker, and wants to help keep their lungs clear, it also has mushrooms, I think the Conjuplex does as well, to help boost that immune system. And there's so many more, but when I run a scan, I can tell Immuplex is really to help fight anything, not just viruses, but bacteria. So is the Conjuplex too. But we're really looking at anything right now to just help support your immune system. And any of those, but what we'll do too, when you come in here, we can muscle test, we can see like which is the best for your body. And sometimes it goes a little bit deeper than that. So if someone has a weaker stomach, and what's a weaker stomach? Gas, bloating, heartburn, acid reflux. When you have a weaker stomach, your immune system is weaker. Your immunity starts in your stomach. You have all of this good bacteria in your stomach to help fight off anything that comes in. But sometimes the bad bacteria is overgrowing. So apple cider vinegar is great right now. If you can tolerate drinking it, I cannot, but if you can, a tablespoon and a little bit of water is great, just to make sure your stomach is acidic enough to get rid of the bad bacteria. Your good bacteria grows wonderfully in an acidic stomach, a proper acidic stomach. When people have heartburn or reflux, it's because your stomach isn't doing that checks and balances again of when you eat, all of a sudden, your stomach already knows, oh, okay, we got to produce acids to digest that food. Then after you're done eating, it reverses that and it calms that acidity down. If that's off, then you're going to start building up too much acidity, and that's when some of that acidity is going to come up. What people think is the stomach is too acidic at that point, and that's not necessarily the case. The stomach needs to be more, it's the only thing in your body that should be acidic. But when you get things like gas and bloating and food ferments in there, all of those stomach juices start to come up. And that, even if that's not acidic enough for your stomach, it's still way too acidic for your esophagus and everything else, and that will cause damage because all of that stuff fermenting in your stomach is starting to come up into places of your body that can't handle that acidity. And so I'll have to work a lot on calming that down, repairing any damage that was done in there, and getting your stomach back to a state. And that takes time sometimes, but all those purple pills and everything, antacids, they're only supposed to be used for a very short time. We need to calm down the body, but then we have to get things functioning properly again. And so these are all things that we can work on with the body if you let me know your symptoms, and get that working. But again, the whole point is, I know our best bet against fighting off any virus is building up our immune system. And for everyone, that's their own personal journey. I look at the tongue, I can tell so much from the tongue about what's going on in your stomach. And so after looking at that, then I can see where we have to start. But no matter what, adding in those other supplements to help boost your immune system is just going to be key. And it's a lot of peace of mind too, knowing that you're doing something to help build up your immune system while there are things out there that are trying to come in and have their own plan. Alrighty. So, I've heard too of these apple cider vinegar gummies, and thanks, Christine. She's saying these Goli apple cider vinegar gummies, and they taste delicious. And I think one of my other clients told me that too, which I have to get for my daughter because she won't swallow the pills or anything that I have. But yes, really, if you can get those apple cider gummies, I'm sure you can order these on, they're spelled Goli, apple cider vinegar gummies. What I would say is have those like as soon as you eat a meal. So eat a meal and then take your apple cider vinegar gummies, because it's just going to help your body where it's at and what it normally does. So you eat, your stomach produces the acid it's supposed to. So after you eat, you want to go ahead and take those supplements to help get the acid going, to help break down the foods that you just ate and use them for energy. Okay, now that I just said use them for energy, that's the second thing, is just energy metabolism in general. Okay, so with all of the stress that's going on, and even if people are like, well, I'm not really feeling stressed, you are. Like, with everything that's going on right now and all the uncertainties and unknowns, like, this is placing more stress on us. And if you're living in this world right now, you're picking up on everyone's anxiety, everyone's uncertainty. And so we're living in this. You can't pretend like we're not. And even if you're doing okay, it's okay. But I would say, I know all of this too, and I can tell in my body where I'm like, yes, there's the anxiety, there's the anxiety. One of the ways to really help with that is just by eating 3 meals a day. Don't skip your meals. So you just want to make sure that you're giving your body energy, because it is dealing with information. All this information coming in from other people, from the media, from your own thoughts. So recently I broke my finger, and just that extra bit of information that was coming in, where my body is like, oh, you're healing, we've got to take care of this broken bone, that made my sugar drop. So I was at work all of a sudden, and I can usually get by with just some shakes all day long until I go home. And that day that it hurt the most, that my finger was in the most pain, I felt my sugar drop. I felt like I needed to eat. And so really pay attention to your body. If you're feeling any of those types of symptoms, dizzy, shaky, hangry, then your blood sugar is off. Your body's response is going to be to correct that. I don't want my body's response to be to correct your blood sugar. I want to help my body out and do that itself so that it deals with anything else that comes into my system. So if somebody comes in and they're a little sick, if my body's dealing with my finger, my immune system is left without all those guys on my immune system. So paying attention to your energy is very important as well. And so eating 3 times a day at least is going to be very important right now. I would say fasting is not a good idea during times of high stress because your body is dealing with all of these other things right now. You don't want to get ever to the point where you feel dizzy, shaky, hangry. And you won't go into cravings if you keep your body steady with energy. Usually when we go into cravings, if they're bad, they're going to be the cravings that we get right before bed, like right before we're about to go to bed. That's when we're going to get like our bad cravings. So they're going to be the foods we should probably never, ever, ever eat. But when we do eat them, a lot of times they make us feel sleepy, tired. And so those are the ones that we're going to really want to pay attention to. So whatever you feel like, oh, I really want a chocolate chip cookie or some salty chips or whatever it is, if it's right before bed, those are probably the things you should avoid. If it's during the day, might not be as bad. It might be like, oh, I got a craving for an orange or a tangerine. Maybe you need a little bit more vitamin C. But during the day, unless you're getting to those points where you're like starving, when you're really hungry or right before bed, pay attention to those cravings. Those are probably the ones you should avoid. Okay. Yep, you can order them online, those apple cider pills, and definitely, however you can get that down. I take them in a supplement that we have here with enzymes. I love how I feel when I take those, but it really makes such a difference. The only thing is if you do have heartburn or reflux, you have to be careful with adding in more of the acidic foods. So we might have to do some things where we calm down that system first and then add it in. But we always have to add it in because it's very important in gut health. Alrighty, so I think next time I'm going to actually do something where I talk about how I look at the tongue and how I look at the lines in the face to show which organ systems that we have to work on. I'm not going to get into that right now, but I can tell so much about the stomach when I look at the tongue. And you can, for fun, just kind of Google different things on the tongue. But I'm going to go ahead and do that next time that we go live again, just to show how you can look at your own tongue and see like what your body's needing. All right, so now we're going to go ahead and jump into intuition. All right, Melissa's getting our pull ready here. Overall, what I've been feeling with intuition is I've been feeling very quiet. I've been feeling that meditation is that the...
Yeah, this is our...
Okay.
Nope.
Never mind. We're going to put up the next poll.
No, it's show results. This is our active poll.
Oh, okay.
Okay, there it is.
All right. So we just want to know how, when you have a question about something in the universe and you throw that question out, how do you receive your answers? And whoever's watching better play.
I think it's still open, so we can't see yet. But
Okay.
It's gonna.
All right.
Nobody played yet.
All right. And then if anyone wants to comment about how they receive their messages, let us know too. So we receive information through our different chakra systems. And when we receive things through the crown, it might just be like all of a sudden, like an answer comes in. I ask something and then I hear something. Sometimes through third eye, we get directed to a memory about something. I know Melissa, she like always will say like, oh yeah, it made me think of this episode in Flash or Star Wars, or like, so she'll always like take it back to somewhere where the information was given to her. Some people are like all of a sudden are talking with somebody, and like all of a sudden all of this like great information starts coming through, and then everyone at the end is like, oh my god, did you hear that? Wasn't that great? And like when no one has any idea where it came from, and that's information from the throat chakra, and just being open in your throat and allowing information to come through and be heard. And other times too, it's just something that's like a feeling, like I just feel like this is the right answer, I feel like this is what I'm supposed to do, and it's hard to even explain what that is, and that's information that's coming through from the heart. And I'm gonna let you go ahead and jump in on there since I've been talking forever.
So with the intuition, I remember I never knew that like hearing things was a way to receive information. Oftentimes I'll ask questions and I'll remember something, I'll have a memory, or I just have a feeling, or I hear it. And
so
I never thought
Kathy
that.
said deja vu, and that's what I would say.
Yep.
So like that kind of feeling to me is third eye, like
Yep.
that deja vu feeling.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's like a memory that existed before, but you don't remember it existing. And with intuition, it's always going to be, again, with knowing yourself, knowing how you are tuned in. When I was first learning about the Akashic Records, the teacher that I got my certification with said it's going to be different for everybody. And that was like the greatest thing I could have ever heard, because I always thought that I had to see something. You know, when I closed my eyes or when I had my eyes open, I had to see something. And I'm not a visual person. I am auditory. And when she opened that, I was able to release my expectation of what my answers look like, so that I could open it's communication, open the communication with myself. I allowed it in. I got my answers through hearing, through memories, through my third eye. And because of that, I could expand in other ways. I could start paying more attention to dreams, or feel guides around me, feel loved ones who had passed, you know, that kind of stuff. But until we get familiar with how we are, like, how we came here designed to receive our information, our primary way of receiving it, all the other ways of receiving it are blocked. So even just as recently as like last week, I remembered that I hear things, and I have heard things my whole life, and I just had this realization after all these years that, oh yeah, I really do actually hear it. It's not, visual. So it's going to be a process. It's a relationship that you build with yourself, and that you get comfortable in, and that you start to trust. But with intuition, it is always going to be, it's going to be how you communicate with yourself. And breathing is so big in that. Being able to come back to your breath, quiet the mind, meditate. And meditation to me is just taking a couple minutes and checking in, seeing where you're at. It doesn't have to be 2 hours or, 30 minutes. It could be 5. And just saying, where am I? What's going on? How do I feel? So with where we are right now in the world and all the energy that's going on, it is a great idea to check back in with yourself and say, is this mine? Is what I'm feeling, is that me? Or am I just picking up on stuff?
Lynn says she hears it from source, and I feel like I'm like that too. I feel like it's just like a crown chakra download. And so it's kind of like I ask a question, and then I wait, and then I hear an answer, and I'm like, no, really? And then I have to, like, because I don't trust anything, so I have to like go Google things and make sure that I get like confirmation on that. And I know, like, that's never hindered anything in my like needing that confirmation. Like, my guides know when I ask a question, I want the answers 3 times. And so, like, it started to be like really funny because I would ask a question and then I would get it like bam, 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 like 3 times, like right in a row, because they were like, here you go. And so this is something I tell everyone, even if someone comes into my office and they're talking about their knee pain and we're working on it, and even if they're not spiritual in the least, we are. We're spirit beings. And so when I bring these things up to people, they might look at me like a little crooked for a while, but like they get it. I mean, they came to me for a reason. Probably because nothing else works, and I'm so used to that anyway, so I don't care what I say. But I ask everyone to play a game with the universe. So if you have a question about something, ask it. Ask your question. And I tell everyone to just start so simple, and this is actually really great for anxiety, because what happens with anxiety is we start to feel like we're all alone in this world. And even though we can say like this one pandemic is happening to all of us right now, everyone is feeling it in their own different way. And there was I haven't heard it in a while, but maybe it's out there, I just haven't been paying attention, but we're all in this together. And that really triggered me, because I was like, are we really all in this together? Because I don't feel oneness. I actually feel more separation ever than I've ever felt before with everybody. And so when you start to feel anxiety, you're feeling really alone in everything. Like, no one is understanding. No one knows how to help you or what to do or cares about how you're feeling. And that's going to create that feeling of more separation, isolation. So whatever it is, I say start with this. Just start with, if I really am not alone in this world, if I really am protected by a higher power, if I really am being looked over by someone, prove it. Okay? So you say this, you let this out, and you pay very close attention for the next 3 days. For me, right now, it doesn't even take more than an hour when I throw it out there to get 3 confirmations of whatever it is I'm asking for. But we see things that we don't pay attention to all the time. And so we miss a lot of things. And so our guides are like, give her another sign, throw out another thing, help her out a little bit more. And they're patient and they're good, and they will keep throwing out that information. So I say allow 3 days, even though I bet it's really happening really quick. We're just dismissing it. We're just missing it. But you should get enough information, whether that be songs that you hear on the radio, bumper stickers you see on the car in front of you, or driver's license plates in front of you. You find a book, you open it up to a page for some reason, and you read something, and there's your information. A animal that you keep seeing outside. Google up, what does that animal mean? You're gonna get your information. And right now, we really need to know that we're not alone in the world. That helps as much as the breathing to get rid of the anxiety that we're feeling, to know that someone cares, someone's watching us. It's not all on our shoulders. When you have shoulder pain, it's because you feel the weight of the world is on your shoulders. It is not. That's the stuff that you have to give to a higher power and say, I feel it, help me know what to do with this.
And that's why I like the crystals. I like to have a physical touchstone to bring me back to that, to remind me where I am. So, and I know that you guys have all heard how I started with the crystals, and how we would play with them. But you can do that too. You can just look. If you have a couple in front of you, or you just Google, maybe a color comes to mind, and you Google a crystal in that color realm, and you can see which one sticks out to you. That's going to help you understand immensely what's going on in your head, that you are not hearing, not understanding, information is getting lost. Just grab whatever crystals come to your attention. With anxieties, I like these because it's with you. You physically have it. It's a reminder in the physical realm that you have teams working with you to help you and support you. I know, like with the fidget spinners, that was the whole point of them, was to kind of connect the mind and the body. This is the same concept. It's getting you out of your head into your present reality. And it doesn't even matter the crystal that you choose. Honestly, it's whatever is pretty at the moment you can play with, and it will bring you back to who you are. If you're looking for more specifics, depending on your anxiety, some general ones, I'd say fluorite, amethyst, and then anything blue is really great for anxiety. Anything that's going to calm your energy, that's going to help so greatly. And if you can't, when I first started with the crystals, I wasn't doing breathing. I was still shallow. And now, 3 years later, I'm like, oh, maybe I should get into the breathing as well. But it takes time.
So I'm going to throw out that last question there too. So if you know a crystal that is like your crystal, that like your go-to crystal, if you want to go ahead and jot that down for us, or if there is just a color that, like, if you close your eyes, like that color makes you feel calm. If you could throw that out at us, and we can expand a little bit more on that. What I love about the crystals is it reminds me of the miracle of the body. That is why I got into what I'm doing. I believe the body is a miracle. That's why I'm not as scared about things that come up, because I trust the body because of experience. Because when people have come to me and they said there's no cure for this, or no one can help my pain, and all of this stuff, I used the acupuncture and what I was taught to get the energy moving in the body. And as soon as I did that, I don't know what's going on in the body. Nobody really knows the inner workings, the miracle of this body. But once I got the energy flowing, the body took over and did what it was supposed to do. And a lot of times, like even with anxieties, we think we don't have what we need to survive, and we do. And these crystals all of a sudden remind us. It's like Wizard of Oz, like Dorothy always had the power to go home. And so when you work with the crystals, it's like, oh yeah, I thought I needed this, and you do, and you won't let go. Like you'll find one and you won't let go, and then all of a sudden it's in the dryer, and you're like, oh crap, I forgot about that crystal. And it's because you received the information. You know that now. You've integrated that back in. You just remembered that was already in you. You just forgot about it. It just got reactivated again within your body. And so working with the crystals is extremely powerful to help with this whole remembrance of everything. Okay, so got the amethyst. And amethyst, go ahead, you talk about amethyst.
Amethyst to me, I always imagine it as a crown chakra crystal. When I think about it, I feel the calm. I know it's got a lot of different properties. There's a lot about amethyst out there. I always just connect it to crown, and it soothes me because at that crown level, when we are open to receiving that, there is this trust, there's belief, there's faith, hope. We're more open in that state when we're working from there. So amethyst reminds me of opening up and being open to the answers coming through without bias, without judgment, with an open heart.
I would say for me too, amethyst like connects me the most to Archangel Michael. When I make crystals, amethyst and lapis lazuli are the ones that come through as the ones I should use the most for Archangel Michael. But for me, it's that the whole idea that you are safe and you are protected. And when you're in that state, you're able to open up and let go. When you're in anxiety mode, you're closed. And so your own fears and ideas just they just keep repeating. And once you have someone there to say like, I'll watch you, you're safe, then you have this opportunity to open up and expand and think of other things, because you're just not in this like protection mode, or I have to protect others, or I have to take care of everything. And to me, that's amethyst is like that. It's like Archangel Michael saying, I'll protect you. Go do whatever it is you got to do. Go get your good ideas. Go whatever it is. I got you. You're safe. And so when you're able to use that, you're able to let go and see this world from a whole different point of view.
Right, not just through your fear anymore.
Mm-hmm. You want to talk about what you got put together there for us?
Yes. So this is just our August. It's going to be for the whole month. I know, like with the new moon and the full moon, people are often concerned, like, will this work for the entirety of the cycle? And yes, of course, it's all going to be aligned with the themes going on, and oftentimes our themes repeat. So everything that we talk about, everything you feel going on, these are all parts of you that are just being acknowledged right now. That doesn't mean that they're going to be gone forever, or that they won't still influence you in your day-to-day life. That's why it's nice to have these tools with you throughout the whole cycle, not just new moon, not just full moon, but the whole month. And we'll find that often our new moon and full moon themes from month to month correspond. They have a lot of the same undertones to them, because just like the moon, we all go through cycles in life. So I put this one together. It's very non-specific. I just thought it would be nice to have different tools to start to play with to know yourself a little bit better. So the first thing I have in here is incense sticks. They're called Spiritual Life. I have these ones and meditation sticks. These are nice to light and sit and just be. Light them up, kind of see how you feel when you smell it. Smells trigger things in the brain, things in the memory, so see what comes up when you're sitting with the incense. And then with the incense, we have these stone ash catchers, which are really nice. This one's an Om one. And there's the oracle cards too. These ones are called Namaste. These are nice. So the oracle cards are nice because they deliver the daily messages. So you can have something in mind while you're shuffling, and they'll show you the answer that you're looking for. These are nice because they're not, with the tarot, it's more of a journey. The oracle is day to day. So you can pick one every day, you can pick, a couple a day, whatever you're feeling. These are nice to play with to kind of confirm what you were already knowing about whatever it was that you were asking. Yeah, I think we do have the open, right? We'll read some. These are great, and I love the Namaste deck. They're so pretty. They're just very uplifting. And then we have a couple different kinds of these. This one is Courage. It's an essential oil blend by Plant Therapy. This one is so beautiful. We have Courage, Motivation, and I believe Focus is the other one. and I will be putting different ones in each bag for the packages. But what I like about these is they're just stimulating this energy that's going on right now. So what I've been feeling like, and I don't know if you guys watched, I just did a quick video yesterday about the crystals that I put in the package, and all the crystals were really focused on helping us to move forward, helping us to see where we stopped ourselves before and learn it, understand it, release it. So all of this, the whole package is going to be helping us there. It's going to help us get motivated. It's going to help us forgive ourselves for whatever it is we need forgiveness for, and it's going to help us to create a plan of action to move forward with and help us to navigate within that plan the different changes that will come. It'll help us to adapt. So the crystals that I have in here, and then I did put just a little surprise in there for anybody who purchases this. These are $50. So in the crystal bundle, I'm not going to go too much into these. I'll tell you guys a couple words about each since we did the video yesterday. This is apatite. Apatite clears away confusion and brings in wisdom and clarity. The orange calcite is a crystal of fire energy. It has a very nurturing quality to it, though, so it's motivation with like a gentle care. We have red tiger's eye, which is the motivation, the confidence. It's grounding, and it helps us to move forward from where we want to be and not from where we were. And then we have the topaz, and the topaz is hope, forgiveness, truth, and joy. That's our bundle.
So every time Melissa puts together a package, well, I'm amazed by Melissa all the time. I don't understand how she's so intuitive and where she's at with as young as she is. And so when she hands me the crystals, I put them in my hand and I just see how that makes me feel. And when she gave me that bundle, I immediately centered, so I knew that that was good for the anxiety. And I also took a gentle step back. And that's actually how I've been feeling with everything that's been going on. Is I've been feeling, well, everyone knows I talk a lot when I'm on here, but I've been feeling like stop, just listen. And I've really been paying attention to the stories from my clients, what everyone is really feeling, really respecting everyone where they're at right now, because I feel like in order to have more answers, I have to do more listening. So the first card that I pulled here was school. And I couldn't find the Namaste card, so I just pulled some other cards that I have. And life lessons. And we were just talking about this before. It's like I told her when I held that bundle, I felt like what I needed to do was go and look at my life experiences, see what I learned from them, and see how I apply those answers to what's going on right now. I really feel like I always tell Melissa, I hear this like, what's his name?
Morgan Freeman.
Morgan Freeman God voice in my head that says, all of these things have happened before and they will all happen again. And I didn't even realize it till I watched the old Peter Pan with my kids, that they say that in the beginning of Peter Pan, which I love Peter Pan. And I feel like that it's like lessons repeat and repeat and repeat. And how we move forward with it is going to depend on how much we learned from it the first time. And there's so many times in our life, in just our own lives, forget what's going on in the whole world, in just our own lives, where things repeat and repeat. And I have the same issues with my friends that do whatever to me, or with partners, or with bosses, or coworkers. And it's like this thing keeps repeating and repeating and repeating. And that is something that I've used Evox for in my practice. But the thing is this is happening all the time. Life repeats and repeats. And we can move forward a little bit better if we can really gather that information of what happened last time. The thing is it is hurtful. Mm-hmm. And we have to realize the part in everything that we play that I've allowed this to happen. So I think this is okay because I've thought this about me and I think this is supposed to happen to me and I'm just waiting for the next person to do that. So if I want my life to change, guess who has to change? Me, and my way of thinking about me and looking at all these things that have happened and do some of this inner work to be like, oh honey, stop that, stop thinking that, stop thinking you deserve this, or stop thinking that this is what life really is all about. If I believe that to be true, I will prove it true all the time. Our beliefs hold such a power over us. And so sometimes we have to go back and look at, why do I believe that? Why do I believe that to be true? Is it because someone told me that? Is it because my life keeps repeating? Or is it because in meditation, this is what I really felt like God would say to me? Do I really feel like God would say, yeah, you're going to have shitty friends? You know, no. Like, I know that this comes down to what I am attracting into my life because of what I believe. So right now, we're getting all of these good lessons. All of this stuff is coming up, bringing things up. We might say one thing that's going on in the world, and all of a sudden it reminds us of somewhere where there's been injustice in our own life. And now we're fighting about this, but we're not really grasping it. We're not really understanding it. And so this card and this crystal bundle is amazing to allow us to go back there, gather the information that we need so that we can make some changes in the future.
And I think, oh, is it labradorite? Yeah.
Of course, this is the crystal that I pulled to help with all of this.
This is the crystal.
That's like our,
yeah, we love this.
It's like
one.
Natural Healing Center's crystal.
We're labradorite. But I think with all of this, this is getting to know yourself. This is what we mean by know yourself, is know your story, know who you are, know why you've created these patterns, where in life they were created, who brought them to your attention. And I think I even said in the New Moon article, asking yourself why. When you come into a reaction state, something triggers you and you react, ask yourself why. That's why the breath work is important, because you come out of this, how could this happen? And instead you go into, okay, why did I bring this? And they're doing that brings in a whole nother level of understanding. It takes you out of victim or reaction or anger, the primary emotions that get triggered, and into a state of knowing that you are the one that writes this story for you, and you can change it just as easy. If it's something that doesn't feel good, look at where it came from and why, and then make the appropriate changes through learning, through the school of life, your lessons.
And please watch yourself with assuming what you think others mean by their statements. Really ask someone about their story, about why they feel a certain way. So if someone disagrees with me, I assume that they have no idea about my life struggles, wouldn't even care. And I feel like that's what's leading a lot to this isolation right now too. If you were to really listen to someone's story, you would open up and have compassion and see that what they're saying, even if it's going against what you're saying, is opening a whole new realm, a whole new level of understanding. That's the labradorite too. It's like there's a problem here, and we think that there's only one solution. There could be a million solutions. It's just that it only seems like there's one solution for me. based on my life and my life experience. And so if we can really just ask someone like, well, why? Why do you take that stance? Why do you feel like that? Once you let them tell you, oh my God, it's like one of the best things that I have is people get to share their stories with me, and I'm like humbled. I'm humbled. I am taken up, like everything I thought is cleared. That's part of this crown chakra. You ask a question, you think you already know the answer, and then all of a sudden something else comes in, and it's that whole like brain explosion. And that's what happens when we really just listen to other people's stories. You get a whole nother perspective and a whole nother way of looking at this. And you know, with like both of these, you can come up with a way better solution than you even thought possible. And so right now, don't just look at the post. Don't just look at the post. Don't respond to the post. If you really want to know, dig a little deeper. Look at someone's story. Look at why they've reacted in that way. Look at what they're really trying to show you. And then start to see, well, then what do we do about this? Because we don't want to keep repeating and repeating and repeating. Sometimes we have to, because it's not until the 5th time that it comes into our life that we're like, hey, wait a minute. That's familiar. I think I need to change this. So allow in other people's stories and perspectives so that we can come to this solution broader. All right, and get those crystals. Her crystals are amazing. I love them. And really, anytime you put those crystals in your hand and just see how they make you feel, that's a whole other part about opening up intuition. Mm-hmm. Hold a crystal and see what happens to you, whether you feel it in your body, whether it makes you think about something, whether things come into your head. I really want to help build up this intuition right now, because I feel like we're coming. I feel for some people it's already opened up, but I feel for others we're going to have to keep meditating and asking these questions, and the answers are going to start really coming in pretty soon. So I'm very excited about that, and I hope everyone gets to play with that.
Yeah, and then we're going to have these packages on sale on Monday.
All right. Thanks for putting those together, and read her articles. They're crazy amazing.
Thank you.
All righty. So thank you, everyone. We'll talk to you later.
All right, guys.
Thank you, Missy.
Bye.
Miss you.